I talk about that with shooting too. And I talk about that with instinctive archery, like wing shooting, for example. You know, we've all had that. I don't know if you've ever done any duck hunting, but anyone who's duck hunted have had that opportunity where they've seen those half a dozen mallards from 200 yards away, and they're coming straight into your decoys. And as they're coming in, you know they're coming in. And as they're coming in, you're in your mind, you're going through a checklist. You're going there, yeah. Okay, yeah, and they're going to swing this way, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And they get on top of you, and you unload your gun, and you haven't hit a thing. And it's like, what the heck? Because you weren't in the moment. You were playing around with your checklist. You were playing around with doing what you think you should do. Right. And then the next time you'll have a green winged teal come at Mach 1 in the corner of your decoys, in the corner of your eye, and you just go up and boop, knock it down. And you go, how did I do that? Because you didn't overthink yourself out of the moment. As soon as you start to think about your shot, you're now behind because you're not living in that moment anymore. You're living in the past. You can't catch up. And so if you're thinking about the shot when you're shooting, you got to think about that bird going down, not about how you're going to approach the bird.
That's the best. That's the best advice right there.
Yeah, your mind has to be in finishing. It's like, I mentioned that in this article. I talked about golf again. And so you come to a hole in golf and, there'll be like out of bounds on the left. And then there's river coming through.
Yeah.
And it's like, where do people do? They either hit it out of bounds or in the river. Or they hit it so far right, they're on another fairway.
Yeah.
Because their mind is telling them where to hit it. And your mind can't differentiate between good and bad. Right? If you got Tiger Woods, you think he's thinking about out of bounds when he's hitting? No,
not at all, obviously.
He doesn't even come into his equation. The out of bounds in the river hazard doesn't even come into his equation. It's not even in his mind. Because only in his mind is where he wants that ball to land on the green, right? Whereas all of us other hacks, we're worried about going out of bounds, so we put it out of bounds because that's where our mind is. And that's why, like guys with target panic. So target panic is people worried about where they're going to hit it or shoot. Right? If you're worried you're going to miss, you're going to miss. It's like, if you think you can, you think you can't, you're probably right.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's that mind frame of being in the moment and not being in the past. Being there and because if you're worried about lead and you're trying to do lead, well, you're already behind the bird and you're already going to miss because your mind can't catch up to the moment. So your mind has to be in the moment. It starts in your mind. Your eyes are just the pathway to get there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.